What I look for is low float stocks, low priced, that are moving on news. What's going on, guys? Tony Ivanov here with another video lesson, and today I'm going to talk about exactly how to find the hot stocks for the day. If you've been watching my videos, you can see that every single day I usually trade the hottest stock of the day, and I've been getting a lot of questions on exactly how I find them. So I'm going to go um, into my process, step by step on how I do this. So make sure you stick around until the end of the video so you can get all the information. If you're new to my channel, I appreciate you stopping by. I make these videos every single day, Monday to Friday, recapping my trades and giving you guys tips and tricks on how you can become a better day trader. So if you see value in this type of content, smash that like button, smash the subscribe button, and make sure you turn on that bell as well so then you're notified when I make a new video. So I traded YTEN today, and honestly, I messed this trade up pretty badly. I still made a profit, but I sold way too soon, and I used a market order on my sell, and I was basically robbed 20 cents. So I made $120 on this trade. I should have made around 250 plus, and I just sold way too soon because you can see I sold at like $3.66. Now when I hit the sell button, the price was at like 385, 390, but because it was a market order, it hit, I don't know why, but it hit me at like 366, so instantly robbed 20 cents, and I just got kind of emotional on this trade. It was moving so fast and I wasn't really prepared for it, and I just wanted to lock in that nice small profit and have the day done. But you can see it went from the twos up to $8.68, so I could have made a big chunk of change on this trade, but oh well, there's always another opportunity, and as long as you make a profit, then there's not that big of a deal. And the main thing about it is that you can learn off of my mistakes and see what I did wrong, and then when you place the same trade, it's less likely that you will make the same mistakes. So let me just talk about how exactly I find these stocks every single day. So what I basically do is I use these programs called stock scanners, and now the ones that I use are Equity Feed and Trade Ideas. You don't need both, but I find it very beneficial to have both, mainly because when you use Equity Feed, here's Equity Feed. Here, this column right here, it tells you that the stock has news. And if you press this button, it brings up a window and it tells you automatically what the news is. So this is very helpful in pre-market. When you're looking at your stocks, you can really narrow down which ones you want to trade based on if they have positive news or not. So YTEN, it wasn't picking up in pre-market just because it was barely moving whatsoever, but it just happened to be the biggest mover of the day. So in pre-market, I was with my chat room. Link is down below if you want to join that. And we were watching Mara, this one right here, and nothing was really looking that appealing. Let me show you trade ideas. So the cool thing about trade ideas is that you can look back into the history of the day, but the downfall of trade ideas is that it doesn't have a news column, so you can't really see which ones have news. You have to look up each one individually, and that can be kind of a hassle when you have this many things moving in pre-market. So here's what pre-market looked like in this morning. So we had not too many stocks moving rapidly, not that much volume either. Hottest volume was DPW. Didn't want to trade that because it's not really been doing that good recently. Let me just pull up the chart. So DPW, it did have some room to run, but it just looks very choppy in this area. It has no real direction. It's green one day, red the next day, large dojis and everything. It's a better swing trade, and I'm not a swing trader. So here was the pre-market action, and it looked like we were gonna had this breakout over 371, but we stopped right underneath it, and it just kind of fizzled off and sold off in the morning. So I didn't want to trade that. And that's basically how it was for most of the stocks. So this is really what I do every single day. I use my scanners, E-Trade and Equity Feed, and what I look for is low price stocks in between $1 and $10, and with a low float of less than 20 million shares. That's what the scanner is at. But usually the ones that I trade, the floats are less than 5 million. I just use the 20 million just so you have a bigger variety, and maybe there's something that's good or not. You never really know. And then I also use dollar volume of at least $300,000 in pre-market. And then I just basically look through every single stock one by one, and I see if they have good news. And if they don't have any news, then if it has any breakouts coming up, and how much resistance there is above the stock. So let's look at VTGN, I mean. This was one I was looking at. Actually, no, I was not looking at this because it was, it had a huge gap down. So one key thing is that when I trade my stocks, I never trade stocks that are red on the day. Sometimes they have big spikes, but usually they just keep falling throughout the day. So you have to make sure that when you make your scans, you only look for stocks that are green on the day. So I did not look at this one. Let me fix this right here so I can hold this. Perfect. So this was red on the day. Did not want to look at that. This was red on the day. Let me look at the change in dollar volume, or change in percent. CBIO has a flow of 2.8 million, but it's out of my price range at 925. I'll look at it anyways just to see what kind of move it has. So this one had news, but you can see it had a huge run in pre-market and then just sold off all day. Don't want to play that because my number one play right now is the breakout over pre-market highs, and if it's way down here in the $8 area, I'm not going to buy the breakout of mid-10s because that'll likely be resistance and sell off. You want to find stocks that are holding near the high of pre-market, because then when it breaks out, it's more likely that it's going to have a huge rush of buying rather than a huge rush of selling. ANTH was one that I was watching too. Had a 12 million float, so it's a little bit higher than I like, but they had some good news. But you can see this one, same thing. Had a large run in pre-market on really low volume, and it was holding this level at the 180s, but at the market open, it just dropped and it stayed down here all day. So nothing really good. So as far as pre-market goes, it didn't look like this. It didn't look like the market was going to be that hot today. So after pre-market into the market open, I shift my focus purely into trade ideas, and I use their live alerts. So I have this one window that is called low float movers, and this will give me live alerts whenever we have low float stocks that make new highs on volume. So I basically just watch this, and if there's a stock that I like, if there's a stock that I like, I'll type it in, see if it has good price action. So first up, do this one, VSTM. Type this one in. This was right here, and I see that it was at the low of pre-market. The pre-market highs were all the way up here in the mid 5s, and we were down here in the mid 4s. I'm not going to pay too much attention to it because my ideal play, like I said, is breakout over pre-market highs. And if we have the stock move this much, it's more likely that once it hits this level, it's going to act as resistance because people will be taking their profits. So I didn't look at that one. Next was CBIO. We already looked at this one. DAVE popped up. This was a pretty quick mover. And this one had a very nice run, but I didn't want to hop into this one just because it was halted for a pretty long time actually. And I didn't want to get into this one because it had really no action in pre-market whatsoever, and it was a bit too high priced for me. If you look at the daily chart, you can see that it doesn't really have history of huge spikes, and back here there's a lot of resistance, so it's less likely that it's going to have a big run. But you can see the float was 5 million shares, so on volume it can run pretty hard. Didn't play that one, don't really care, no harm done. Next, this one right here, too high priced, like $7. This one didn't have many alerts, only one alert. And then YTEN started flashing across the screen. First thing I see, price 295, and then 3 cents, and then 318, 320 in a matter of 10 seconds. So this is running really fast. The flow is only 2 million shares. So this is one that I wanted to jump into. So I typed in YTEN. I looked at the daily chart and saw that, okay, that's a history of spiking. And what I did was, whenever you see these lower highs, it's always a good idea to make a resistance trend line, because maybe that'll be the high of day. You never know. So let's move back to the 1 minute chart. And this is the one that I got into because it had a really good flow. It was in my price range, and it looked like it was moving up very fast. The thing that I didn't consider, and the reason why I shouldn't have sold so soon, is because this was moving pretty heavily on very low volume. You can see right here, the volume on the day was only 82,000 shares, and it was already up over 53% on the day. So when a stock can move that much on only 82,000 shares, imagine what it can do when it has 200,000, 500,000 shares. It's going to keep going up exponentially. And I didn't take that reasoning into my head. I was blinded by it because it was moving so fast, and I just wanted to get in and out quickly because I didn't see the big picture. And because I didn't see the big picture, I got burned on it. Not burned, but I didn't make as much as I should have. So I just bought right in this level, and I sold like almost 10 seconds later. It was a very quick trade. And right when they hit that sell button, I realized my mistake, because it was still on very low volume and it was just hitting all the scanners. And the cool thing about trade ideas is that lots of day traders use this scanner. So when you have a stock that's on your scanner, it's flashing on tens and thousands of scanners. And the key thing is that you have to get in first. If it's a good looking setup, it's low priced, low volume, it's moving huge on low volume, it's more likely that it's gonna have more buying on top of you. So the key thing is that you have to buy first and just really hold on for the ride. And then this got halted right next to $4 mark, and right when I saw it halted, I knew that it was going to be the biggest runner of the day, and I said that in my chat room. Opened up out of the halt, we jumped up all the way up to $6, and then we made a flag pattern, and I alerted this in my chat room as well. And you can see, once we broke that flag, we made higher lows. We broke the high of day, made a nice U-shaped breakout, and you can see right here the Bollinger Bands had a very nice squeeze, and then we shot up under the $3 per share, and that's really it. That's how I do this. So just to recap, I wake up around 1 hour prior to the market open. I do my pre-market research. I use my scanners, equity feed, and trade ideas. I'll have links down below, and you can use those to download those scanners. If you download equity feed, there's a free 2-week trial with no credit card needed. On Trade Ideas, unfortunately, there's no trial like that. I'm going to try to work with them, and maybe they'll hook it up for you guys, but we'll see. So essentially, I go into pre-market and I do my pre-market scans. What I look for is low float stocks, low priced, that are moving on news. If there's good news, I'm gonna look at the news and read it, and then look at the chart. If the chart's good, I'm gonna put that on my watch list. If there's nothing moving in pre-market, then I'm just gonna wait until the market open, use Trade Ideas here. Now this window isn't a preset one made in Trade Ideas. This is one that it took me months to make, and I think I'm gonna make this downloadable pretty soon, so we'll see. Just keep updated on my channel and I'll let you guys know. But so if there's nothing moving in pre-market, I move into the market open and I just watch this window and I just wait in to see until there's a stock that looks good. And what I mean by looks good is has a low price, it's low float, it's moving fast on pretty low volume, and I pull up the chart and I see if it's good or not. If it's good, I'll jump in. Simple as that. It's not rocket science. Now that doesn't mean that trading is easy. There's a lot of emotions when it comes to trading. As you can see, this moved huge, but because of my emotions, I only captured a very, very, very small piece of the pie. And that's just something that you have to deal with when you're trading. There's nothing that you can really do about it. You just have to keep practicing and refining your patterns and strategies, and then eventually you'll get the hang of it and catch this big move. So that's it for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed this content. If you did, please leave a like and subscribe. If you have any questions, leave them down below and I'll be happy to answer them as fast as I can. And I'll see you guys in the next video.